if you are dealing with a group of teens, or maybe just yourself, it's rare that when you look at them, they're actually looking back at you. Instead, they're glued to the little rectangle screen in their hands. And to be honest, a lot of us adults may be guilty of the same thing. So how much screen time is too much screen time? Deseret News columnist Iverson is here with us, showing us how we can detect if our teens or even ourselves are addicted.
Yeah, I mean, texting is what I focused on just because I have 2 teenagers. So anytime they're together or with our family or whatever, they're just like this. I mean, have you seen this?
Oh, anywhere. You go to the store, you are on a bus, they're all just...
So I think a lot of parents wonder, okay, is this normal because all the kids are doing it, or should I be worried? And there's some things we can look for.
Okay, and what are some of those top triggers? How do you detect if they're teens?
Okay, so
is
these are things
frame?
psychologists will say. It's not necessarily a time frame, but it is, are they lying about how much time they're spending texting? Are they lying about that? The average person spends 25 minutes a day texting. That doesn't seem like that much, and I know a lot of us can get a lot done when we're texting, but 25 minutes a day, and teenagers are sending about 200 texts a day. I've never counted mine. I don't know how many I'm sending, but that seems like a lot. And a lot of them have this nomophobia. You've heard of this? It's like,
I actually haven't. This is a new one.
Okay, so no mobile phobia. It's like this phobia when you don't have your phone, and they have an addiction to having that in the palm of their hand. I have it too. I mean, when you don't have your phone, you kind of freak out, right? So you want to look for, are they lying about how much time they're spending texting? Do they get combative when you talk to them about it? Like when you say, hey, I think we should maybe have a little time with no phone. Do they freak out and get defensive? That could be a telltale sign. If they have tried to maybe step back a little bit and they can't, that's another sign. And the final one is if it's replacing other things they used to love. So if they used to love playing soccer, but now they're like not wanting to go to practice because they're like this, that's just the 4th thing you can kind of look for.
And I feel like a lot of us adults can fall into this too. I mean, you can walk into a room at work and everyone's there on your phone. So what are some solutions to help our teenagers, help ourselves kind of get through this?
Okay, so there are definitely some things we could do, and we've talked about this with just screen time in general, but having tech-free times. So you decide what that is at your house. Maybe it's dinner time. I know a lot of people say that. So dinner table, no. Or maybe a lot of parents say they do it in the car, that there's no phones in the car. We're talking, we're interacting in the car, or maybe it's an hour or 2 before bedtime. And see if you can have those times when you just say, we're doing something other than being on our phones.
What about setting up certain areas in the home? Like, hey, if you're in the kitchen with me, no cell phones in the kitchen. Or does that work? Do you think that can help
every
train the mind?
Every parent can kind of decide what works for them. I know a lot of parents who will say, not only for addiction, but for coming across things they shouldn't in their bedrooms. Like, in your bedroom, we don't have a screen. So if you're out in the family room and we're all together, fine if you're texting, but not in your bedroom. So setting those tech-free zones too, maybe the car is another one, good thing.
What about putting more pressure on parents as well to kind of keep kids from getting bored? Because is it safe to say that when kids get bored, they then jump right to their phone?
Well, I think a lot of kids are in this habit where there's nothing to do, you turn on the TV, or there's nothing to do, get on your phone. And so I think I had one person get mad at me when I wrote this column because they said, we shouldn't have to come up with things for our kids to do. I think this depends on the age of your child too. Younger children, and the average age is 10 when kids get phones now. So a younger child like that, yeah, maybe you as a parent need to say, hey, let's play this board game together, or hey, let's go outside and throw a ball together. Older kids, maybe you're telling them, hey, you need to find something else to do. And you can't leave that up to them. But yeah, I think boredom is a huge cause for the amount of time we're spending on screens.
Okay, do you see kids behaving a different way the more that they are exposed to phones?
Well, parents will see this. A lot of times you'll see that aggression. You'll see them kind of sinking into themselves and not being as social as they used to do. There's a huge debate over whether or not texting makes kids more social because they're talking more with their friends, even though it's just through text, or if it's making them socially awkward. That's something I think only parents can figure out if it's affecting their child this way. But like you mentioned several times, parents and adults in general have to set an example. We have to model the behavior we want to see in our kids. So if you find your child constantly telling you, get off your phone, mom, 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 you know,
Mom,
then
I'm trying to talk to you, please.
Yeah, it might be an issue. And so I think a lot of parents have to take a good long look in the mirror and say, am I modeling the type of behavior with my gadgets that I want to see in my kids? That's going to be the hardest part.
Lead by example. Amy Iverson, we love having you on the show. Thank you so much for being with us.